All right, joining us now on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line, our friend, the great baseball scribe, Jim Salisbury. Jim, pretty routine night at the ballpark last night, right? Nothing crazy happened.
Nothing crazy except one of the more memorable nights I've ever had in that yard, right up there with Jimmy Rollins against Broxton and Roy Halladay, no hitter in the playoffs against Cincinnati, and of course Bedlam at the bank. I don't know, Bedlam at the bank would be awfully hard to top, but this was in the rare air of memorable nights at Citizens Bank Park. Four home runs, crazy.
Special night, no doubt about it. It was funny, too, because I think my feed was a few seconds behind, and the Phillies Twitter account tweeted, LOL. And I kind of just knew that the fourth home run might come into play. But Kyle Schwarber becomes the 21st player in the history of the game to hit 4 home runs in one game, the first Philly to do it since Mike Schmidt back in 1976. So you brought up, the electricity of the ballpark. I think a really good place to start. What was that moment like? The lead up to it, him walking up to the plate, the maybe unintentional time call by Drake Baldwin to give you a little bit extra breathing room. What was the situation in the moment like at Citizens Bank Park last night?
Kind of, to me, Tyler, it was sort of a 8-inning mini series because, they fall down 3-0 in the top of the first. Nola gives up 3, and we're starting to hear some boos. Also heard an Eagles chant. And coming off what just happened in New York, you're like, oh no, here we go again. And then in the bottom of the first inning, their comeback starts. I mean, they score 5 in the bottom of the first inning, all on home runs. Well, Schwarber hits the first one. So he gets this comeback going after a poor first inning, after a poor showing in New York. He sort of starts to turn the tide. And then, and then he hits a second one. And then he hits a third one. And now the people are really getting into it. And, the drama is building. They want to see a fourth one. And then he just clobbers one to right field. So the energy picked up, really, I'd say, with every at bat. I mean, whenever a team gets 20 hits and scores, 19 runs like that, the crowd is going to be into it. They're going to be electric the whole night. People love to see offense, but it built and built and built like a kind of a wave leading up to that fourth home run, because that's unbelievable. And then in the bottom of the 8th, he comes up with a chance to get number 5, and unfortunately, he's facing a guy throwing 57 miles an hour, and after facing 90-plus all night, that's going to mess up your timing. He pops it up. But the atmosphere was great. The atmosphere was really great. People knew they saw something special from a player that they really – I think this town really loves Kyle Schwarber. Over 4 years, he's become an iconic Philly, in my opinion, and really the place embraces him, and he embraces the fans right back. So it was kind of a give and take. Kyle Schwarber provided it, and the fans gave the love back. It was really special to be there.
So kind of a ceremonious way to break out of an 0 for 20, because it was a rough, 5 or 6 game stretch for Kyle Schwarber going hitless in that Mets series. But you bring up kind of the love that's mutual between the city and Kyle Schwarber. I think everybody in the city would love to have Kyle Schwarber back on another long-term deal, or whatever long-term feels like over the next couple of years. To you, what kind of sense are you getting as the season kind of comes to an end? We get closer and closer to his free agency. What kind of sense are you getting about a potential reunion or return to Philly for the next contract for Kyle Schwarber?
My sense is, they have 3 big free agents: Schwarber, Real Muto, Ranger Suarez. My sense is the organizational concentration right now is totally on winning a World Series, and that's where I think it should be. They'll deal with these matters after the season. I don't think there's any chance, or a very slim chance, that Kyle Schwarber leaves. I think front office, right up to the ownership level, they know how important this guy is in the batter's box, on the field, intangibly in the clubhouse. What he's done over 4 years, as I mentioned, becoming an iconic Philly, impacting so many victories. Let's not forget, they were on a 10-year postseason drought before he came here. They've been to the postseason. They're going to be there 4 years in a row with him here. He's provided a lot of electric moments. He's helped his team win a lot of ball games. The Phillies, Tyler, are over 4 years 110 and 45. 110 and 45 when he hits a home run.
Wow.
Now, you're always going to be better when somebody hits a home run. I don't care who it is. You score runs, it helps you win games. But that's a pretty remarkable stat, 110 and 45. And I think he's going to age well because his bat speed is good. He's a DH. He's not on his feet a lot. I think he's going to be a productive hitter well into his 30s. He doesn't try to do too much. His focus, especially after hitting 200 a couple years ago, he was embarrassed. He went to work. And he prioritized contact and hitting the ball hard up the middle. You do that, you take that approach, and you're that strong, the home runs are going to happen. So I believe the front office knows how valuable he is, and I certainly believe ownership knows how valuable he is. John Middleton is a guy who listens. He's a businessman and a good one. He listens to his customers. I mean, he sees the night after night love affair with this guy. He sees the fannies in the seats. He knows it makes winning sense. He knows it makes business sense. I don't think there's any chance in hell Kyle Schwarber goes anywhere else. I think he's right back here. What does the contract look like? I don't know. I guess the dollar signs are
blank
continuing
check.
to. I don't know if it's that, but I'd certainly say it begins with a 3 and maybe 30, 31, 32 per year times 4 years. Maybe you have to go another year to get him off the market. I don't know. But to me, 32 times 4 sounds like a pretty good deal for both sides. So we shall see. But I fully expect him to be right back here next year.
So he's now at 49 home runs, second in baseball only to Cal Raleigh, 110 RBI, first in baseball. In your opinion, when it comes to the MVP conversation, he's cemented himself very clearly in the conversation. I think it probably comes down to him, Shohei Ohtani, P. Crow Armstrong's probably still in the conversation as well. In your estimation, where does he stack up in this NL MVP race?
Right now, I think he's about neck and neck with Ohtani. I tend to look at the middle name of the award, most valuable player, and a lot of some people look at it differently, and that's fine. I respect all opinions and how people frame it up in their own mind. But to me, it's not the best player. It's not the guy with the best numbers. It's not the player of the year. It's the most valuable player, the guy that lifts his team on a night and night out basis. The guy whose team wouldn't be where it is if you took him off it. The guy who's indispensable. And I think Ohtani is right there for the Dodgers. I mean, they've been banged up, and I think Schwarber is right there for the Phillies. I think you took either one of them off these teams, they wouldn't be the same. But look, we're close to Schwarber geographically. We see it every night.
Sure.
The way he lifts this team in the lineup and the way he lifts this team intangibly. He's a great teammate, and he supports his young teammates. He's there for them. I just wonder how many nights a guy might have had a good game or a good week because Kyle Schwarber supported them. And you look at performances like last night. It jacks his home run total up to 49. He's one off Cal Raleigh. I mean, that's amazing. But time and circumstance, when that victory came and when that performance came, led to a much needed victory because the previous day they were in a very low spot.
Mm-hmm.
They had just been swept by a division opponent that who just took a big bite out of their division lead. This was a huge win. He wasn't stepping up for a team 19 games out in September and hitting 4 home runs. He was stepping up for a team in the heart of a pennant race. And delivering a much needed victory and getting the team back on track after a really difficult time. So he is really a leavening agent for this team. He lifts them, night after night. I know he was 0 for 20, and that to me just adds more to it. How you can just come out of an 0 for 20 and an 0 for 11 in New York and just turn it right around. So I think it's going to be a fascinating vote. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think there's merit to both candidates, but what's there, 5 weeks left in the season? We'll see how it all shakes out here. But Kyle Schwarber, in my mind, has had an MVP season, whether he wins it or not.
So I've used the word catalyst like probably for 2 or 3 years now to describe Kyle Schwarber, whether he was hitting in the leadoff spot, hitting
Yeah.
second, hitting fourth. I think that, you laid it out really well there. He is kind of the straw that stirs the drink for this team. He is the catalyst for their productivity. So I kind of want to now put it into perspective because he may or may not get to the 58 home run mark set by Ryan Howard, but he's nine shy with about 27, 28 games left to play. Whether he gets there or not, how do you kind of assess Schwarber's season comparably to Ryan Howard's 2006 MVP season when he hit 58 home runs?
Wow. 49 home runs, 58 home runs. I mean, Schwarber's going to get to 50. He's going to get over 50. It's the second most home runs ever in Phillies history. Other than saying they're both phenomenal, great seasons, Howard won the MVP that year, right?
Correct.
06?
Yes.
I think they're very comparable. Whether or not Kyle wins the MVP and kind of equalizes them, very comparable. The Phillies did not get to the postseason in 06. They were sort of getting closer and closer every year. Howard's growth as a player and his productivity helped them get to where they wanted to eventually go and eventually got 2 years later. But either way, you're looking at greatness and you're looking at two players who lifted the whole team. I'm always asked who was the most important guy, Utley, Rollins, or Howard. You could debate that till the cows come home. But again, they all brought different things. You take Howard's big bat out of the middle, they're a different team.
Sure.
You take Schwarber's season out, they're a different team. So they're both Gold Star seasons. I don't know that I can give, right now, Ryan won the MVP. He hit 58. That might be, a cut above. But Schwarber's going to take this team to the postseason. And that's worth something too, because that's the reason you play, to win championships.